Welcome back to 16 by 9, the bigger picture.
2 women from Canada fighting to save their husbands from execution in Iran. But with every passing hour, they grow more afraid they're fighting a losing battle. And they say the Canadian government isn't doing enough to help them. Here again is our Mark McAllister.
Freedom. In Iran, it can be gone in a second. They die by hanging, firing squad, even stoning. Hundreds every year. 2 men from Canada, Hamid Ghassemi-Shahl and Saeed Malikpour, sit on death row, while their wives wait a world away in constant anxiety and fear.
I'm living with hope, but on the other hand, I have that fear every moment. That stress makes me to check Iranian official news every 2 hours, just to make sure that there is nothing happen. Everything is okay.
I fall prey to, someone would call it depression. I'd call it exhaustion.
Both men born in Iran, but both live in Canada. Hamid, a citizen, and Saeed, a permanent resident. In Iran, that doesn't mean much. The men are considered Iranian. Their Canadian status is not recognized.
We still don't know what Canada is doing to help Hamid. We're still in the same place we were 3 years ago.
Canadian government keep pushing us back by saying that we don't have any obligation towards you since you are just a permanent resident. You are not a citizen.
Fatima Eftekhari says the government has done little more for her than express concern.
Deep concern is not strong enough to save a human life on death row in Iran. We are dealing with a government that has no problem killing people. How can we expect them not to kill my husband?
Desperate, Fatima wrote to the Prime Minister.
Mr. Stephen Harper hasn't replied my letter, although I have sent him 8 copies of that letter so far.
Fatima's MP, Brian Wilford, stepped in to help. He says officials from the Iranian embassy told him no one from the government has contacted the embassy about the Canadians on death row.
It's an issue of human rights. It's an issue where the Canadian government has not spoken strongly in favor of Mr. Malikpour, and of course the Iranian authorities know that.
They are right there beside your building on the other side of the street. Why nobody from Canadian government, except my own MP, met Iranian officials in the embassy? So, sorry, the public statement and deep concern is not enough. It's just talk.
16 by 9 wanted more than just talk from the Canadian government, and so we requested an interview with the minister in charge, Consular Affairs Minister Diana Blonsky. We were told the minister wasn't available for an interview, and instead we received a written statement. Iran has repeatedly refused Canada's request to allow us to visit Mr. Ghassemi-Shahl and Mr. Malikpour and provide consular assistance to them on humanitarian grounds. We continue to press Iranian authorities for due process, fair treatment, and consular access, including clemency. 16 by 9 wanted to find out exactly what the government is doing to press Iranian authorities, so we caught up with Prime Minister Stephen Harper for an update from the campaign trail. Mr. Harper, one question, please. Mr. Harper.
Hey, sorry, no questions.
Canadians are facing execution in Iran, Mr. Harper. What will you be willing to do? The women say the Prime Minister has ignored their pleas, and on this day, he ignored our question. A question about Canadians in Iranian prisons. Excuse me. So 16 by 9 tried his political opponents. Liberal leader Michael Ignatieff says Canada has to get tough.
I have absolutely no illusions about what kind of regime we're looking at here. The government of Canada needs to be extremely clear, extremely tough.
Next, we caught up with NDP leader Jack Layton at the Sikh Khalsa Day celebrations.
Well, we've been calling for our government to be a strong voice on those issues.
There is no one here who's speaking for Hamid. I'm the only one. And he's the most important person in my life.
Antonella and Fatima aren't giving up. They want their husbands home.
It is expected that a country would stand behind its citizens. My hope is that Hamid is released and he's allowed to come home to Canada safe and sound. That's the only wish I have.
Please bring my husband back to Canada. I need him here. Please.
Coming up on 16 by 9.
90% of the animals here are a direct result of the clearing of forest.
That's all coming up